Hello everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I have some exciting news. I just created a guided meditation that I channeled, and when you go to my website, reneemillman.com, if you sign up for my newsletter, you can get that guided meditation free and delivered to your inbox. So I hope you'll check that out. And for now, let's get on to today's video. Given all the things that are happening in the world, I think it's a really good time to talk about self-love. Self-love is how we treat ourselves. It's the relationship that we have with ourselves. Oftentimes people think that self-love is narcissistic. It's this exaggerated, grandiose sense of self, and that's not what self-love is at all. Self-love, like I said, is the relationship you have with yourself, how you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself. Self-love is not just saying, well, I love myself, so I'm going to go buy myself several new outfits and a nice handbag. Or because I love myself, I'm going to go take the day off from work and get a bunch of spa treatments. Now, all those things are fine to do. But truly, when it comes down to it, our self-love is not measured in the things of the world. It's not measured in buying yourself nice things. It's measured in how we treat ourselves. So I put together 4 things that I have implemented into my life that have made a huge difference in my self-love. When we love ourselves, we will find that we have greater confidence and self-esteem. If we hate ourselves, if we just tear ourselves down, we will find that we have very low self-esteem. We have a lot of self-doubt. We don't believe in ourselves. And this is why it's so important that we are kind to ourselves. Remember, to love ourselves is to give that love, that kindness and compassion that you would give to your best friend, to give that to yourself. So here's a few things that I did that really, really helped me. The first thing I did was I learned to set boundaries and to stand up for myself. I learned that when I say no to something, instead of agreeing all the time, that I am able to have more self-esteem. I'm able to feel better about myself. And I found when I do that, at times, it was scary. It wasn't easy. At times, there were relationships that were lost. But in the end, afterward, I go through this period of discomfort that I'm so glad I stood up for myself, that I stood my ground, and that I said, I'm not okay with this until this or this is changed, or I can't go forward with things being like this. Can we think of another way? So when I set boundaries, instead of just acquiescing and being overly compliant, and I stood up for what are my real needs? What are my real wants? What is okay with me and what isn't? And not being here just to serve someone else and being a doormat, but to say, I'm not desperate, I'm not needy, and I'm not coming from that place. And instead, I know who I am, and I know what my worth and my value is, and I'm going to advocate for that. So standing up for yourself, setting boundaries, will change your life in so many ways. The second thing that really helped me was to assign positive meaning to struggles in my life. What this does is it takes you out of victim mentality. It takes you out of, oh, life is just screwing me over, or I just have really, really bad luck, or I don't know why I can't ever catch a break. Instead, when I looked at difficult situations and challenges and even tragedies that came into my life, and in time allowing myself to feel the feelings that came up, allowing myself to grieve if that was necessary, allowing myself to feel disappointment, but then ultimately saying, I see why this was brought to me. It takes me out of feeling like a victim and perceiving that I'm just getting blown around by things that happen in life, and instead saying, life is happening for me, not to me. I'm not a victim. I have control over how I respond, and that may be the only thing that I have control over. So when I assign positive, empowering meaning to difficult situations, things changed. My attitude changed, and I know that it can for you too. The third thing that has really helped me is to not compare myself to others. I know, I know, I think humanity as a whole is always comparing itself and saying, well, this woman is more successful than I am, has more money than I am, is more beautiful, or this or this or this, or maybe if you're saying, well, this guy is more handsome and he has a better body and da-da-da-da-da, more money, nicer car, all these things. Remember that when we are comparing ourselves, what we're doing is we are taking the backside of our tapestry, the backside of our carpet. And if you look at the backside of a hand-woven carpet or a hand-woven tapestry, it's full of all these loose random threads and knots and crisscross mess of threads, and it's a mess. And you're looking at the backside of that tapestry and comparing it to the front of someone else's, and that front of their tapestry is beautiful and it's polished and it's colorful and it's this well, finished piece of art. So remember, when you're comparing the backside, the side that you do not share on social media, and you look at someone else's wonderful vacation and their wonderful marriage and their wonderful kids, and you're looking at your own messy life, the only way that you can feel is just depressed. It will only just kind of cut you down and reduce you to feeling like you're not good enough. You just don't cut it. And so if you catch yourself in that spiral, what you got to do is say, you know what? A woman who knows her worth, or a man who knows his worth, doesn't spend time, doesn't waste time comparing herself to other people, because you don't know what their story is. You don't know what their struggles are, and they're not telling you that. So you don't know. And instead, you have to come back to appreciating and acknowledging all that you are and all that you bring and what you have. So if you catch yourself in that, and I catch myself in that every now and then, and I have to say, hang on, Renee, you're comparing yourself. That's not true. What you're telling yourself is not true. And get myself back on track. So notice, if you catch yourself in that trap, get yourself back on the right track and stop that in the middle of that process. The fourth thing that I did that really helped me with self-love is to take care of my body. This means getting enough rest when I feel I need rest. It means taking the time to prepare good food. And if you're someone who maybe is super driven and super busy, you have a lot going on, and I know for some people, I've had clients who have told me this, where they say, eating and preparing food, that's just another thing on my list to check off. It's a task. I just want to get it over with so I can get back to doing what I need to do. And I understand this. So for me, it was very loving to myself when I actually took out the time to prepare healthy meals, to give myself rest if I needed rest. If I needed a good workout, I go do a good workout. But to, instead of brushing off my body, to say, shut up body, just, I need to get all this stuff done. Slow down, listen, tune in, and see what your body needs in that given moment. What kind of food does it need in any given moment? What kind of activity level, if any, does it need in that moment? And really minding that, because the body talks and the body has wisdom, and it's always communicating that wisdom with you. And if it needs is something that's not getting met, it'll get louder and louder until eventually you pay attention and you give it what it needs. If we don't have our health, we cannot do anything else. So as they often say, our wealth is in our health. So those are just 4 things that have helped me tremendously on my journey to loving myself. I hope that these help you, and I hope that you continue to take positive steps towards loving yourself, embracing who you are, and knowing that you bring so much. Every person brings something unique into this life. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have merchandise available. A link for that is below. I also have a course online. It's an online workshop, and there's a link for that below the video as well, for you to learn how to do tapping or emotional freedom technique so you can change limiting beliefs like the ones I'm talking about in this video. I hope you will check that out as well. Thank you again so much, and I'll see you soon.